What's up, Collab crew? I'm Andrea.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are empowering estheticians one conversation at a time.
Hey Collab crew, welcome back to our next episode of the SD Collaborative podcast. And we are so excited to present Mrs. Denise Fuller-Warren, our guest speaker today. Denise has an amazing history in the aesthetic and spa world. We just attended NASNPRO yesterday, which was founded by Denise.
Yeah.
It is the National Aesthetic of Spa and Networking for Professionals. And it was held here in Orlando for the first time in 21 years, correct?
That is correct. Yes. I had a good time. It was my first time attending a NASNPRO show, and I really enjoyed myself. I really had a good time. I met some amazing people. And Denise, it was such a pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for having me be a part of history in its 21 years.
Absolutely, and we blew away the magazine there with all this great energy. But you actually were on our Skin Talk panel and just brought such amazing expertise, great knowledge, and we appreciate that because it was not just 21 years, but we also had Suzanne Warfield and Leslie Kirsten on the panel. So we just had industry experts and luminaries. And for Suzanne Warfield, she's the director of NCA, and I also had the privilege way back in the day of giving her the Lifetime Achievement Award in Miami. So it was a very full circle moment, which is just so much a part of our aesthetic community or our aesthetic collaborative, as you guys now have.
Yeah, so can you just formally introduce yourself to the people?
Hi, my name is Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Just so that they know like who you are and, you know, tell us a little bit about
Absolutely. So, you know, when I talk to people, I'm like, I'm just an esthetician.
Okay.
I've been in the industry for 30 years. I started when I was 12, but I have, you know, my parents often say, what are you going to do when you grow up? Because I've had so many different changes in my career. But that's what the most exciting thing about being an esthetician is because you can change your pathway, your journey. You don't just have to stay in a treatment room steaming and creaming. And I know we do more than just steaming and creaming. But
Love it.
we could do so much with our license. Yeah. Even though we're here in Florida and only have, 240 hours, at the end of the day, that license is a career and a financial decision that will carry you through. And I've had my community, my license be able to do just that.
Yeah.
Because I've had some life happen. You know, when you talk to estheticians, you have to give them hope because guess what? Life happens.
Yeah.
We go through divorces, we become a widow, we become fired, we move out of state, we have to decide what to do with our license. Houses burn down.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my aesthetic license has been able to feed my babies
Yeah.
and put food on the table so that I can continue my career. So that's what I love. So when people are like, should I become an esthetician? Absolutely. Now, is it easy? No. But what job, what career is?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So again, I've done a lot. I worked at PJ National Resort and Spa. For about 5 years, I've had a celebrity clientele, Celine Dion, Susan Lucci. I've been an educator for PCA, for Universal Companies. I've been an editor-in-chief for Les Nouvelles Esthétiques and Spa magazine. I have traveled the world as a consultant. But 21 years ago, I was complaining, just like estheticians do, or a woman, about I had just gone to a trade show, and this is not a diss on trade shows by any means. Trade shows, we all need to attend a trade show.
Absolutely.
There's just something exciting about the hustle and the bustle.
Absolutely.
But I was supposed to meet Jana McCormick. Well, she was on the trade show floor making contacts and doing what she does. I was in classrooms and we missed each other. And 21 years ago, there wasn't Facebook. You couldn't just DM someone. You couldn't just, and no one was really doing networking meetings for estheticians.
Yeah.
You were a spot director, you could go to some elite events, but as an esthetician, we were kind of, redheaded stepchildren a little bit.
Yeah. I could see that.
And again, 21 years ago, different climate. So again, I'm complaining. And Jenna McCormick challenged me. She's like, do something about it. Make the industry better. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm working. She goes, you can't just complain about something. Be the change.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I'll do it if you'll help me. And I didn't even know what it was. So we decided to have a meeting. And Mez Verrill, the owner of the Daytona Beauty Academy, was very gracious. Said, you can have your meeting. You girls do whatever you want to do. We had 12 estheticians show up, no vendors.
Oh, wow.
It started with just 12 estheticians, and then it grew, and it grew, and it grew. Then I started to get phone calls from other estheticians and spa owners saying, well, can I attend? And I said, well, of course. They're like, well, but it's just for Floridians, because we called it the Florida Aesthetic Network. This wasn't anything we had any ideas. We were just doing it to get together.
For your local community
For
more
the
so.
local community.
Yeah.
And then as other states started to participate, it's suddenly like, well, this isn't just for Florida. So we made it more National Aesthetic Spa Network. Well, then I went to an event in Missouri, because at that time we had volunteer directors, and everyone was calling it NASN. And I'm like, where are you going? And they're like, we're at a NASN event. And I went, what have you people done to my name and my organization?
Yeah.
But then it just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Well, then we got to a point where we started to do a publication or a program, a very pretty program. And I wanted to do a play on words. And so that's where the pro came in. The pro actually is for the program.
Okay, I thought it was for professionals.
I thought too.
It is also-
Professionals. Yeah.
It is, but again, it's that play on words. NASNPRO for the professionals.
Okay.
Because to attend an event, you have to be licensed or own a business. You can be a cosmetologist, massage therapist, a physician. Well, yes, we have the events, and here's all of the events for 2025. I'll give you that.
Nice.
But then we have this whole other part of what we do. And our association or organization or network or family, whatever you want to call it, you actually join, become a member for free. And I've had business consultants tell me that model is not the way to do it. You're not going to make money. And I'm like, that's not going to drive me. I'm not a money-driven person. I'm a passion-driven person. I'm a hope-driven person. I want to help people. So if you're like, yeah, you can make $2.2 million by having members pay for it, I'm like, no. Because I don't care what stage you are in your career. You can be, and I'm not a fan of still calling a baby esthetician. That's just not me. I'm a little bit more old school. A new esthetician or a seasoned esthetician, you always need resources.
Yes.
And why am I charging you to get a discount at Avis or at a hotel or for a vendor or whatever? So we've now grown to over 50,000 members
Wow.
worldwide.
Wow. That's
So from
huge.
12 estheticians and all the energy and all the thoughts and all the tears and all the prayers, and to this moment to be 21 years old, I'm like, that's awesome.
No, that's, girl, that deserves a round of applause because, wow, 50,000. Insane. Did you ever think that it would get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, did you expect it to grow and for you to still be, doing the NASNPRO brand 21 years later?
And when we first started, no. And even 10 years into it, no. Because I was always, I had NASNPRO and we were working it. And then I was doing something else. I was either, an instructor. I was either, moving as a director. I was so it was always kind of like, I don't want to say back burner.
Yeah.
But it was that part-time job.
Yeah.
Okay. But then once it started to grow, and especially in 2014, when I moved from Miami to Pennsylvania, I suddenly had time to concentrate on my daughters and then also on NASNPRO. So I would say in 2014, that's when it really got serious. I started looking at trademarks. Because then by that time in 2014, I was like, oh, we have a brand here that the train's out of the station, it's going somewhere. Better get on and start being a real conductor. You know? And so I would say about 2014, 2015, that's when it really started to gear up. And because before then, when someone would be like, how to become a member? Raise your right hand. I love NASNPRO.
I love NASNPRO.
Congratulations, you are a member. Woo! That's it.
But now we have technology, so you easily go online, fill it out, and you're a member, just like that.
Exactly, and again, free. Now
It's free.
Yeah,
It's
and
free.
And now we have our own channel, NASNPRO TV.
Yeah, talk about NASNPRO TV, because I think it's such an amazing resource.
It is, and again, this happened during COVID. So it's like every stage kind of, you tweak, you move, and sometimes you get forced to do things. Well, with that, here's COVID, can't do events. And my team came to me and said, hey, Denise, you really need to do a podcast or do on Zoom. Actually, it was a Zoom, 'cause I remember every company was doing Zoom. And I'm watching, and I'm like, I'm not liking this. It was glitching, it was this, and I want to do things with excellence, or we're not going to do them.
Come on.
So part of it was I push back. So usually in the industry, I'm kind of the forerunner. I do things beforehand. Not this time. I was behind on that one. But what happened, it forced us to really do some research and figuring out how we do a subscription. So we've coined it NASNPRO TV, of course, from our brand, but think of YouTube for estheticians. 24/7 in your home or between clients, you can watch educational segments for you to build your career. We keep it at $20. It's a nominal subscription. And again, it just has a few more bells and whistles. I would give everything for free. I would let everyone come to an event for free.
Yeah.
I just would. But again,
Your vendors want to get paid, I guess.
Employees too.
well, and now we have.
They gotta find the space.
Well,
all the
and there's a
back-end
few
bills.
more bills now too. I mean, you don't just walk into the DoubleTree and be like, "Hey, look at who we are! Borrow your banquet room. Oh, hey, by the way, you're going to give us food for free." Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, and avian technology. Yeah, no. So, a little
It's
bit.
a whole production at this point.
It is a
Yeah.
whole production.
Yeah.
It is, and for me, I take a lot of calls or DMs or emails because, again, we're not just based in Florida. We are based in Florida, but our network now has expanded, and the questions come from Australia. They come from New Zealand. It comes from England. And while I might not always know the answer, I can usually direct them to someone that does. Because now we have so many resources at our hands.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being involved with NASNPRO. We're involved in legislation. We're involved in just a lot of different levels of our industry.
Yeah. So you started off with just you and one other person and an idea. So how many people do you have on your team now that it's been 21 years?
Oh, let's see.
Because
I
would
think we
imagine,
are
like,
at 8.
8? Okay, so you're running. That's still a low number.
It
And-
is.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's a
okay.
small team.
It is a small team.
And that's what I think is what makes NASNPRO so unique, so personalized and so intimate, and that you've been able to hold that for all these years because you are very hands-on, Denise. And I think we know a lot of, directors, coordinators, I mean, they're kind of just like delegating. Obviously, I know there are certain things that you are delegating,
Yes.
to your team of 8, but you are very involved. You're very hands-on. You're meeting with the vendors. You're specifically choosing people that you feel very much align with what NASN has to offer to their audience and attendees. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that has played, you being so involved, I think is what makes NASNPRO so unique.
I think that's the way it should be too, though. Like, if you're going to have a business of that magnitude, you want your hands in the pot. You don't want to just completely step away and then let other people run it, because then it's not going to be ran the way you want it.
It's not. And I don't care if it's a hotel brand.
Right.
I mean, how large or how small, you have to be involved from the daily to, the monthly to the yearly. I have talked to more owners who, and I don't want to say stepped away, but let's talk about a spa owner. They're still doing treatments. They don't know what's going on at their front desk.
Right.
They don't, or, they don't know necessarily where their monies are going. I've had, not me personally, but embezzlement, employee theft. You have to be on top of it.
You really do.
And have good people on your team.
Yes.
That you can trust, that is aligned with your mission, with your goals, that is not going to undermine you. And that's tough. That's tough to find for employees. That's tough to find for assistant spa directors. It's tough to find, whatever you're looking for. But it can happen where you create a great team.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have a great team.
Yeah.
I agree. A lot of it is very personal for you too, because a lot of these people have been your friends for many, many years, and they've kind of been on this growth journey with you, and then finding new people over the years that you feel just could come right in and align so well with
Absolutely.
all the offerings that NASN has. Every time I go to a NASN event, I just have the best experience, even from registering at the front desk to talk to Rachel and Denise's daughter Rachel, who also just recently become a licensed esthetician within the last 2 years.
The last 2 years, yes.
Yeah. So, to be able to talk with her and catch up and just hear about her amazing journey she's having right now, and she's killing it, in her spot position. Go, Rachel.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Well, and you also then, again, full circle moment, Ashley trained her in dermaplane. Yeah. And so, it wasn't my expertise. Rachel, you taught her, then I was Rachel's model, and I looked up, I said, do whatever you can do, just don't cut me. And she was like, and she did it.
She did amazing. She was a little nervous at first, but she has really. So also going back to, okay, so let's start with why you also decided to get into the industry and become an esthetician in the first place. Did you have this passion for skincare and self-care?
No. So I became a single mom at 20 and had Daniel, who's my oldest. He is 34 years old, has a master's degree. I'm going to brag on my children a little bit.
You better brag.
He has a master's degree. He is married, and he is teaching high schoolers in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, nice.
So a couple years goes by. I'm thinking we moved to Florida. My dad was a naturopath doctor, so I always grew up in the holistic industry. And from iridology to colonics, I knew Dr. Bernard Jensen, and my dad worked at huge holistic hospitals in Mexico. So let's say, I think I was 10 years old and playing in the pool overlooking Baja while my dad was seeing patients.
Oh, why?
We didn't have aspirin in our house. Okay? It was extreme holistic.
Yeah.
Right. So I did not want to do that. I wanted to be probably a CEO of a company. I wanted to do business route. Then I got pregnant. Life kind of changed there. Suddenly I have a baby. We move to Florida, and my dad has to go back to school to become a massage therapist. Because back then, a naturopath doctor in Florida was not recognized. He's like, well, knowledge is knowledge. I'll become a massage therapist. So he's in school. They have an aesthetics program. And he comes home, he's like, hey, honey, they have a school program where I'm attending, and it's, a lot of makeup and beauty, and you've done modeling before. I think you would enjoy it, especially the makeup part. Doesn't tell me anything really else. I was like, okay, that'll be fun. I get in. The first 2 weeks, I'm like, these are a bunch of Mary Kay wannabes. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to fly. Then,
And what year was this in?
1994.
Okay, 94.
Fortunately, 2 things happened. One, my instructor was amazing.
Yeah, that's
great. Barbara Mazzulli, love her, and she was the esthetician and had worked with Dr. Fulton.
Oh,
Dr. Fulton was co-founder of Retin-A.
yeah.
Okay? So she came at aesthetics more from a dermatologist point of view. The second thing that happened in that school was Dr. Marcolese came to my class.
Oh, wow.
And that's what clicked for me.
Okay.
And I'm like, so you actually really can make money in this? And he goes, absolutely. And I'm like, well, hi, my name is. And
That CEO brain was going.
it was trying, we got to start networking. And then a couple years later, I'm working at PGA, and they had a very supportive educational program. So as an employee, you got, I think it was $1,000, maybe $1,500, that you could go to classes and just get more education. It had to be approved. I did that every year. I used that.
Okay.
Other estheticians did not. I used it to get water certified in lymphatic drainage. I went to Australia, became a beauty therapist, so I'm internationally accredited, because I always knew that PGA, as great as it was, my first 5 years, it was just a stepping stone. I knew I wanted more. I just didn't know what more was. But again, you have to have those resources and you have to have education. You can have the passion, but if you don't fuel it somewhere with that level of education, you're not going to go anywhere.
No, you're not.
Oh man, I can sit in a Ferrari, but if I don't have any gas, I'm not going to go
nowhere.
I can't go anywhere.
It's so important to continue to learn and pour into yourself and connect with people in the industry, because like you said, that's how you maintain the success within the industry, how you reach more clients, how you reach more colleagues to just kind of lift each other up. I did want to ask though, how many hours was the schooling when you started? Because that question was in my mind, like,
Actually, in Florida, it was more.
really?
It was more. It was, I went 6 months full time. I want to say it was like 360.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, we're still not talking, because we're to
1200, yeah.
right. But if you have a great instructor, you can do it.
Yeah.
I can sit in 1,200 hour, but if I have a poor instructor or an instructor who's in the cosmetology room getting her hair done, that doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, you did 1,200. And I can tell you as an instructor, I had a couple students that went and did a Vader class with Ann Bramham, and they had just graduated. And she was like, Denise, this is a really advanced training.
Yeah.
I said, I think they'll be okay. My 2 students went. They met some Georgia estheticians, and they were like, oh, you're a baby esthetician, you're new. Well, good luck. Anne called me afterward and said, you can send any of your students. Wow. Anytime.
That's awesome.
So it has to do with the instructor.
Yeah.
You got them excited about it too, I'm sure, and had them sending them off for this opportunity is, I think a lot of people when they're in school wish for an instructor like that, and it's actually very rare to find a good
The ones that are out there.
I had a instructor, Nancy, talked to you, like she made sure we knew our stuff. She did not play.
Yeah,
So,
even with the short amount of hours again that we had, it was cramming a lot in and doing it in a way that you felt confident to at least get a job coming out of school.
I think the best tip I can tell aesthetics instructors is you're teaching adults,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? They know how to read. So I did my own lesson plans. I didn't teach out of my ladies. I had them do the workbook. Yes, if they had questions. But day one, they were actually doing facials.
Wow.
I love that.
I'm like, your hands are your most important tools.
Yes.
I'm like, you can have all this, but if you suck at, touching people. So that was my first, and so I taught about touch, and then so in the morning it was theory, and I did my own practical, like I said, instruction, which supportive of Miladies or Pivot. But again, I don't need to say, okay, everybody, let's turn to chapter 7 and let's all read it together.
Yeah, we used to read out loud, and I used to hate that part.
I
I'm not gonna lie.
don't have time for that. Now, I will say, we do definitely need to make certain that they are pronouncing words correctly.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so, yes,
Key terms are part of the theory.
Yeah.
please.
But otherwise, the hands-on is truly the most important part because there's so many new estheticians coming out that, especially COVID times, right? A lot of estheticians enrolled during 2020.
Absolutely.
And then they almost got no hands-on
I know.
experience, if at all. And
But a
it's-
lot of the schools are still keeping that same structure, which to me is insane.
That's true.
We had a girl
Yeah.
yesterday that we met at NASNPRO, and she said that she only went to school on Saturdays. And I was like, what about the other days?
the other days you're doing
It's
virtual
supposed to be
stuff.
virtual, and I'm like,
No.
what are you learning? How are
No.
you? It's insane. So it's still kind of being structured that way, and I don't like it. Yeah. So when did you step away from the instructor role, and getting away from teaching?
I don't think I ever have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. You're a pioneer. You're such a pioneer in the industry.
Student I mean, again, I've done a lot of different things. Been an educator for corporate brands. I've been an instructor at 3 different schools, and like I said, editor, and but with 21 years with NASNPRO, it's been a lot of that career. It just, if I was the editor, that was what was shining on my card.
Yeah.
If I was a corporate educator, that was, so, but now, since 2014, like I said, I'm predominantly NASNPRO, and that keeps me busy.
I love that.
That keeps me
So there's no off season for NASNPRO.
No. No. And it's always so funny when people are like, oh, you only work one day. And I went, yeah, no,
sweetie,
Or
this
we
is-
think that December, it's a slow time, and it's actually busier because we are setting up for,
new
the
year.
January. Yeah. So with 7 events, it does keep you busy.
And so that's your average, typically 7 events a year that
It
you
is,
do, right?
It is now, yes.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, in 2019, we did 23 events.
A year.
That was in 1 year. That was insane. That was insane.
That is insane.
Yeah, not only did my team hate me, but I hated myself, and my children hated me. So
Why did I overfill my books like this?
it was,
Oh my
there was literally
goodness.
times that I was like, I don't know where I am.
Yes.
Because we were like in New York and Chicago and that at other trade, because we had partnered with other trade shows. So I was educating and having a booth there, and that it just was
was a
insane.
lot.
It was too much.
Yeah.
In 2020, I cut it down to 7.
Okay.
So from 23 to 7, and my vendors were like, "This, what are you doing?" I'm like, "We just need to step back." I didn't know anything about COVID. Nobody knew.
Right. Right.
You didn't know what the long term of that was going to be for our industry.
Zero, and it actually wound up being such a blessing. Not COVID part, but the seven.
pivot.
The pivot.
Yeah.
And that's what I was just like, we're just pivoting. We're just pivoting, and we're going to make it work and figure it out, and that's what we did. And we're still here.
That's awesome. I love that.
And you really take the feedback that you get from your attendees to implement that and make sure that you're offering things and leveling up and doing things differently, like the NASNPRO TV. You guys have always had great resources, but that's something that they can access anytime, like you said, in or outside of the treatment room. Keep that going. So yeah, it's just, I feel like whatever people request, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try.
Yes.
We try.
You do
We try. And, again, you've learned like 10 years ago, no one was asking for gluten-free lunches.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
It don't work like that. I wish it was. I mean, if I was at my mama's table, yes. But at NASNPRO, no. So again, we've learned a lot how to pivot, and I know that word is very much overused, but that's really kind of what you have to do with time. And what we were teaching 21 years ago, or even doing 21 years ago, to what we're doing now, it has just come full circle. But also we've gone ahead.
Yeah.
The things that my daughter is learning, it's exciting to talk to her because, I bring in the season, and I think that's been a blessing for her. That's why she's been able to level up so quickly.
Yeah.
And now she's like, Mom, NASNPRO is so important for estheticians. And I went, yeah, I know.
She understands it now more than ever.
Yes.
Yes.
She can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. So what's next for NASNPRO? Where are we going next? What's the next city?
Next city is February 23rd in San Diego.
Okay.
We are excited. San Diego, first of all, is a beautiful city.
Yeah, I've never been.
It is amazing. Great weather. So the weather today,
Yeah.
I would say just like San Diego. Yeah. Not too hot, not too cold. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. And it's going to be at the Kona Kai Resorts. We're very excited about that. I think the biggest change with NASNPRO is we started in as using granola bars and water bottles. And now I look around and I'm like, this is so fancy. This chicken actually tastes good.
No, the food yesterday was debonair. It was so
That
good.
cake, the dessert was decadent.
It was so
It
good.
was. And I look at things, if I don't want to be there, no one else wants to. If I don't want to eat the food, nobody else is going to want to.
Right.
If I don't want to use this clean fork.
Yes.
So that's what I look at things from, who I want to partner with as a sponsor, to who I want speaking, to who I want as the host. And we had a great host, Cheryl Goodheim.
Yeah, we like
who's
Cheryl.
California, she has her own place, and she is known for doing 40 treatments in one day.
Now that's insane. I still can't wrap my head around that. Like when she said, "I'll show you my books," I'm like, "Girl, I believe you."
Oh,
But
no, yeah, her book is insane.
me, I don't know if I would want to because my mental social battery will probably be drained by client number 10.
Yes.
Like 40 clients in a day is insane.
She's
Yeah.
had a lot of great energy.
Yeah.
She does.
And she hustles, and when she says she's booked out 6 months, 8 months, it's truth. Because I'll look at her and she'll be like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. So her clients also know if they don't come in, they will not see her.
Yeah.
And so I think that too, if you can build your loyalty, that following, that they're like, look, you better book now, which is what you should be doing anyways, rebooking. But what a great remembrance to be like, now rebook or you ain't gonna get with me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love that.
And that's what I love so much too about the NASNPRO conferences, is that you really have these seasoned estheticians there that have accomplished and achieved so much, and just again willing to give the information and share it with all the attendees. No gatekeeping, so they get up there, they have, you have keynote speakers, you have, a hand-selected vendors that come, and so it's very intimate and personalized. Typically around 200 or so attendees,
Anywhere,
would you say?
it really depends where we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like let's say Ohio, that might be more between, actually last year we did Colorado, okay? That's a good example. Colorado, Denver, a little bit adjacent to Denver, and it was 80 attendees.
Okay.
No students, all business owners.
Wow.
So I was sitting back going, because I always want more. I don't want 10,000 people, that's just crazy, But I'm not trying to be a big, huge trade show. That was never my intent or my goal or my passion.
Right.
But, 80, I was like, oh, man, the vendors are going to be disappointed with 80. They came back to me and said, whatever you did, do that again.
Okay.
Because it was 80 thought leaders. It was 80 entrepreneurs. It was 80 business owners. It was 80 decision makers. It was 80 attendees that wanted to be connected.
Yeah, their mindset is different when
It was just
Yeah.
And so I went, oh, okay. So I went back to my team. I was like, what did we do different in Colorado? And they're like, well, we kind of tweaked this, or we did this verbiage, or we did that. And I was like, that was it. That's what we need to do. So here in Florida, we had people attendees from Texas, Virginia,
Georgia.
and don't forget Tokyo.
That was hilarious.
And we didn't really have anyone from Tokyo. Cheryl, our host, they said Texas, but she heard Tokyo. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, I looked at the list. I went, I don't remember. Maybe it was a last minute, registration that came in from Tokyo. Yes.
Yeah. No, that was.
But it was funny. You had to be there.
You had to be there.
So, what advice would you have for estheticians or people that are in the beauty industry that would want to start a trade show or a smaller scale trade show, or something along the lines that you're doing?
If I could tell myself 21 years ago, I'll be honest, I'm not certain I would do it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it has been in business, there is no one line. Business goes like this. Okay? And the biggest challenge is sometimes life happens. So I become, in this journey of the last 21 years, I've become a widower. And I also, 2 years ago, my house burned down
Oh, wow.
on Christmas Day.
Oh,
It was the
so
gift that kept on giving.
Oh no.
So, you know, that's
Let's
been,
talk about that positive that also
yes, there was
aligns
some
with that
positive.
too.
So when you are doing it alone, okay, and even though we have a great community in this, at the end of the day, the weight of the business, and this is why it's so important to have faith, to have a good circle, to have more than just friends.
Right.
There's fair weather friends that love you when you're, you know, on the high top.
Yeah.
But then when life gets tough, they aren't there.
Yeah.
When my house burned down, the aesthetic community rallied not against me, around me. I didn't have insurance. We had a 100-year-old house that our insurance had just dropped us because of the age.
Oh, wow.
So now California right now is on fire. Guess what? Insurance has been dropped. And so our community, we've had several estheticians that have lost homes and businesses.
Wow.
Both. It's a double, you know. And I'm like, I understand. Have you done this? Have you done this? You need to expect that the city is going to come in and condemn. It's a possibility that they can come in and also put a lien on your house.
Wow.
And property, and that's exactly what the city did with me. House burns down, they come in, condemned it, said it needs to be down in 30 days, or we're going to put a lien on your property for $50,000, and every day next, there'll be a $2,000 fine if you don't get the house down. But we're gonna do that for you, so a whole other story. But again, so that happens Christmas Day. I still have a January event in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And I had just ordered pens, bags, all that went up in smoke.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, the beauty of ashes, what comes out of ashes, is that I got a text message that evening. I had not slept in 24 hours. I get a text message from an ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance, and I hadn't heard from him in about 4 years when his brother had passed away. But he texted me, hey, Merry Christmas, hope everything's going well, hope you're having a great day, hope the family's okay. And I'm like, no, everything is not okay. I'm not certain where I'm gonna live. My car also had been damaged.
Wow.
So my car, all my aesthetic equipment, all NASNPRO stuff, gone. So I'm reading this text, I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth to deal with an ex. Put the phone down. I hear a little voice, says, you will message him back, you will tell him what's going on. So I send him, I'm texting him, I sent him a picture. He's in California. He gets a picture of my house burned down, and he goes, oh my God, does that mean she'd rather burn her house down than talk to me? Because that's what he got instead of the message. Then the message came through, and he's like, oh my gosh. And so every couple days, he would text me and say, how are you doing? I'm like, well, the city came in and condemned. Thank you for telling me what's going on, but asked how you were doing. Have you had anything to eat? Have you done this? So little bit by little bit, we started communicating. Then in February, I was going out to California for a NASNPRO event. We decided to meet and rekindled friendship, rekindled love, and 9 months later, we were married, overlooking La Jolla Shores. So, yeah. So
Such a beautiful story.
I tell people now, I'm like, if I would have known the other side of that, of getting an amazing husband, God-fearing man that is supportive to my business, loves my kids as if they were his own,
Yeah.
I would have burned it down a couple years ago.
So you telling me that I need to burn down my house?
Find the love of your life, burn your ass down. Oh my God.
That is so great. Oh my gosh. Such a beautiful story. I really love that. That's like, you know, there's always beauty in pain, you know, and
It's tough.
Yeah, you know, something good always comes out of a tough season. And I'm just so happy to hear that. That was so like warm. I love that.
And I think it's encouraging. And, the Lord had about 2-3 years prior to that had started, because, as women, we all want the knight in shining armor. Little voice like, you're not ready for that king. No, and I was like, oh, yes, I am, No, you're not. And I had been a widower. I did not date, because Dan passed away in 2012. I didn't date, but I started to write down what I wanted in a man. And, then a couple of months later, I'd be praying, I'd be meditating. I'd be like, oh, you know what? I want this. I want this. Now, I can tell you, ladies, next start, you have a thorough list. I got everything on that list.
Come on.
And more. But there's a few things now I'm like,
I should have asked.
and I'm sure Doug says the same thing about me, But we knew each other, so that was great. So he knew what he was getting involved in. So, but, we've grown now, and it's just so much more. And so there's beauty that has come on in that second season. And I can say, don't settle. Don't settle.
Dang, that's deep. And there is power in writing things down for sure.
Absolutely.
Like writing things down, reading it out loud, like every day, there is power in writing things down. And just a quick story, I remember before I opened my business, I had this journal and I started writing down exactly what it was that I wanted for my business, what I wanted for myself. And it was so crazy that I would read it every day and then I lost the journal. I'm like, what happened to the journal? So I was cleaning up my mom's garage and my sister finds the journal and she starts reading out loud that I literally got every single thing when it comes to my business that I wrote down in that journal. Every single thing.
Well, and I had done that for NASNPRO.
Yeah.
I had one time did a circle, NASNPRO in the middle, and then having just different segments on it. Didn't even realize that I had put TV show.
Wow.
TV channel.
Wow.
And I had found that, about, let's say maybe 6 months after, again, kind of had forgotten about it. And I went, oh, I have that.
Yeah.
I have that. We have that. Oh, we partnered with that. Wow. The circle was complete.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I was like, okay, that's awesome. So, yes, I agree. There's power in writing.
Yeah. Write it down. You want it, write it down.
Yeah. And don't settle. Don't settle.
So for estheticians that are interested in attending a NASNPRO event this year, we did talk about a few of our highlights from yesterday. Of course, Andrea being as a keynote speaker on the panel discussion, which was so exciting.
It's fun.
I'm always in the corner like recording everything from her on stage, getting all her content. Connecting with new estheticians that we've only been, chatting through virtually online through DMs and meeting them in person. The amazing education that was there too from the sponsors that you had. Is there anything else that you would like to add as far as what somebody could expect?
Don't
from that
partner
event?
with an MLM. From day one, I have not had an MLM brand, and I will continue. Again, it's don't compromise.
Yeah.
We're not just selling real estate, we're selling value, we're selling experience, and we're selling professionalism. That's the space. If you can't be a part of that with your brand, we don't want to partner with you.
Yeah.
For an esthetician, whether you're seasoned or new, become a member. First of all, NASNPRO, NASNPRO.com. It's complimentary. There's some great resources there. But make certain that whoever you partner with, ask some questions in the industry. Sometimes that new shiny gadget is not always
so shiny.
not so shiny, and there's a little rust on the bottom there. So, do your due diligence, whether it comes to a partnership, whether it comes to equipment, whether it comes to product. I work with people that really, there's some brands I won't work with because I know they've done some shady things, and I'm just like, just no.
Yeah.
And that, again, and I think estheticians, we're so excited about new technology, new trends. We just need to be careful.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of due diligence. Don't just get suckered into it. And stay in scope of practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, and just because you came from, let's say, Texas, where estheticians can do Botox,
Yeah.
Doesn't mean now you move to Florida, you can still do it.
Right.
You're under a different license.
Right.
Yes.
Know your license, know the laws, stay in scope, become a NASNPRO member.
Love it. Love it.
All right, collab crew. So that is a wrap. We had so much fun talking with Denise here from NASNPRO. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like and comment. If there's anything else that you guys need to know about NASNPRO, be sure to follow them on Instagram. You can DM them. You can become a member for free. And yeah, this was so much fun.
Yes. Thank you again, Denise, for being
Anytime.
here.
And anything you guys need, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.